Do you think we should get some goats, Robbie?
Yeah.
Yeah? What sound does a goat make?
But.
Bah? Are you sure?
Sure.
Hey you guys, welcome back. So I'm out here today with Elsie, and she kind of got me a little worried yesterday. I don't know why. She's been mooing really loudly lately. Uh-oh, here's the face-off. Here's the face-off between Gabby, our shepherd, and... Hey! Wrap it up. She's wagging her tail. Wrap it up, no barking. Elsie had me a bit worried the other day because she's been so loud lately. I don't know why. She's usually very quiet, but lately she's been mooing really loudly, acting a little funny, but I think maybe she's just going into heat, and each one of them kind of expresses when they're in heat a little bit differently. But keeping my eye on Elsie these days, she's the sweetest thing. She's probably the second most friendly cow that we have. I don't want anything to be wrong with her. So I didn't film this and record this or tell the story for you guys, unfortunately, but Elsie, about, I want to say a month and a half, 2 months ago, she started having real bad pink eye. She had an infection starting in her eye, and we had to give her some antibiotics. We had the veterinarian out here. We gave her some antibiotics, and she thankfully has recovered from that. So, you know, we've been keeping an eye on her. Now, one of the things about living in Central Florida is it's so hot all the time. And it gets really difficult to get work done, especially during the summer, when there's so many like 97-degree days that are super humid. It's just sweltering and it's really hard to get projects done. But right now is a great time of year. It's the beginning of December, and we've got a window of like 4 months where we can really get a lot accomplished, and we have a lot of projects that we want to do in that time frame. Now, one of the big projects that we're hoping to accomplish in the next couple of months is to get goats on the property, our goats. We're getting at least 2, maybe up to 4, but we want to have that accomplished within about the next 2 months. Now, the thing is, we need to build a shelter for them. And as it stands right now, our plan, because we have 2 main pastures, we have the front pasture, and as you can see, this is just an example of one of many spots. We have spots that are basically more brush than they are pasture, and the cows don't really graze these spots, but this is like perfect browse for a goat. And as you can see, there's like plenty of brush, plenty of like tall weeds for a goat to browse. And there's also some, oh, hold on, here goes the chickens. There's also some fallen trees that they can climb on and stuff that I'm sure that they'd really enjoy. So we have some browse both in our front pasture and in our back pasture. And just like we do rotational grazing with our cows during the spring, summer, and fall, I'd like to do rotational grazing with our goats as well. So my plan as it stands is basically we could take out the fencing in between 2 of these posts, because this is the fence that separates the front pasture from the back pasture, and we could build a house for the goats, a shelter right in between this fence. So we could have a door facing pasture A, we could have a door facing pasture B that you can open and close at any time. So we could say, okay, right now, I only want the goats to be in this front pasture. Let's go ahead and open door A, but close door B, and now they can get in their shelter freely, but they can only go in the front. Or we could say, hey, we don't want them up here right now. We want the goats in the back. So now we open door B, but we close door A, and so basically they have constant access to their shelter, but it's whether we let them go that way or whether we let them go that way. So that building has to be constructed like within the next month so that we can start looking at getting these goats. Now, when it comes to what type of goat we can get, there's really 2 varieties that we've been really keen on, that I've been really keen on. The Nigerian dwarf goat and the Nubian goat. And both of these goats have their pros and cons. The Nubian goat produces much more milk than a dwarf goat would, because a dwarf goat is a smaller variety. but it's a full-size goat, so it's more prone to escape. And that's something that I'm really, oh, we have Gabby here. Hi, Gab. Hi, Gab. Gabby, the trusty shepherd dog, always on watch here on the homestead. The Nubian goat would produce more milk. We would probably, hey, why are we barking? Would produce more milk. We would probably only need to have one dairy goat. But again, I have to like check all the fence line on this whole property to make sure there's no way that they could escape. And that's something that I'm really nervous about. We have 4-foot fences with a top wire as well. And the top wire adds like, you know, an extra 3-4 inches. So in theory, it should be enough. What are you doing here, Gabby? We got Gabby on the prowl here today. She's making sure that everything's okay with the cows, I guess. In theory, our fence is tall enough to hold an adult goat, but they recommend 4 to 5 feet. So like a 4-foot fence with a top wire, it's a little bit more than 4 feet, but it's not quite 5. So now if we were to get a Nigerian dwarf goat, they're much smaller, and so they're less likely to jump out of the fence, but they produce less milk. And what that means is, well, now instead of needing 1 dairy goat, we might need 2 in order to get the quantities that we want. So I'm still doing some research on that, and we're gonna have to make a decision pretty soon here, because before long, we're gonna be going out and looking at goats. Robbie's found some flowers. What do you have, Robbie? You have 1 flower? So anyways, guys, I hope that gives you guys a little bit of an understanding of where we're going with things. There's at least 3 main projects that we really want to get accomplished this winter. We need to build the goat shelter. We need to go get goats, because it's looking extremely likely that we're going to get goats, that we're going to go ahead and, yeah, that we're going to follow through with that. So we need to decide, okay, are we going to go Nigerian dwarf? Are we going to go Nubian? We need to go look at some people's goats and start getting a better idea of how we're gonna do that. And we also need to build a cattle holding area, a cattle pen. Say hi.
Hi.
We also need to build a cattle pen, an area where we can get the cows in to get their vaccinations, an area where if somebody comes in to pick up the cows, because we don't have that right now. We're still learning, but we definitely will need that. That's like a requirement. So you'll probably see us building those things on the channel pretty soon. And I'm excited to have you guys involved with the adventure. So until next time, guys, are you excited to get some goats, Emery?
Yes, I am.
She is. She's excited. I'm excited. Guys, God bless, take care, and have a great rest of your day. See you guys soon. Bye-bye, everybody.